All right. Good afternoon, or good morning, or good night, wherever you are, wherever you're at. Just coming into a comfortable seat, allowing yourself to set up your mat. If you have your props, I'm going to be using my blanket today. We are going to be doing some stuff on your knees. So if you need the extra support for your knees, allowing yourself to have the necessary props to support that. And remembering to always listen to your body and pushing yourself to your limits. But if you're feeling pain, then just taking a moment to pause. So just coming into a comfortable seat. Today we'll be focusing on our shoulders, doing a lot of heart openers. So we'll be focusing on that heart chakra, the anahata, the center of the earthly, and then the higher conscious. So throughout the practice, I want you just to set an intention to listen to your heart, allowing yourself to find compassion, find love, opening up that space, and just kind of noticing what's coming up, noticing what you're feeling. And then anytime those thoughts come in, just recognizing them and then letting them go. And then wherever you're at, if you ever feel like you're getting distracted or you're getting pulled away, just coming back to your breath. All right, we'll get started. So we'll get started standing up. We do a lot of sitting, especially with things being at home. So allowing yourself to get comfortable and just ground yourself. So finding your feet grounding down into the floor. And then just closing your eyes and then bringing your hands to your heart center. Taking those thumbs and connecting them to your heart. And then taking a deep breath in. And then exhale, sigh out of the mouth. Just allowing it to all release. And then taking another deep breath in. And then exhale, sigh out of the mouth. And then just allowing yourself to connect to that heart center. So notice what is coming up here. And with every breath, with every inhale, just allowing yourself to expand and find length in your spine. And then with every exhale, just rooting and grounding those feet to the mat or to the ground, wherever you're at. And then just in this moment, I want you to bring your presence and bring your awareness to the mat, letting go of what you've done. Maybe you're just waking up, or maybe it's lunchtime or it's dinner. So just letting go of whatever came before now and letting go of whatever is going to come after, and just be here in this moment and being present. So connecting into that breath. And we'll take another deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale, sigh out of the mouth. So then beginning to engage in your Ujjayi Pranayama. So breathing in and out of the nose and finding that audible inhale and exhale like ocean waves flowing through your breath. So as you inhale, you're going to find that slight constriction through the throat. And then as you exhale, you're going to keep your mouth closed and breathing out of the nose. And this is just going to allow you to build some inner heat. And continuing with that breath throughout the practice to continue to build the heat. And then remembering, if you ever, get disconnected, you can always come back to the breath. So just engaging in that Ujjayi breath. I'm going to take a few breaths here. And just noticing what's coming up. Oftentimes when we have blocks in our heart center, we feel jealous, we feel closed off, we isolate ourselves. So this is a time to really just lean into that compassion, into that love, opening up in that heart space, allowing us to find that connection. It's our giving, our receiving, our ability to connect with ourselves and connect with others. So just allowing yourself to find openness in that. And then slowly, if you have your eyes closed, blinking your eyes open, and then inhale, raising your hands all the way up. And then exhale, bringing your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers. And then reaching up through the chest, drawing your hands down the back of your spine, and then lifting up through the chest. Chin comes up towards the sky. And then exhale, taking a bend in the knees, folding the chest forward and the hands come forward. Remembering to keep that bend in the knees to protect your lower back. So keeping a nice generous bend as we're warming up. So those hands interlacing, reaching up and over. And then exhale, releasing them down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And you can bring your hands to the shins, keeping that bend in the knees. Exhale, fold forward. And then slowly inhale, rolling up. And then bringing the hands up overhead. Maybe take the gaze up to the sky, and then exhale, dropping the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers, lifting up through the chest, and then exhale, fold forward. Bringing the chest towards the knees, slight bend, arms come up overhead. And then remember, taking your arms to where it's comfortable for you. So maybe they just stop here, maybe they stop here. Allow yourself to fold into where you're comfortable. And we're just opening up the shoulders. Good, and then exhale, releasing it down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Maybe you bring your hands to the shins. And then exhale, fold. Good, one more time, slowly. Inhale, rolling up, bringing your hands all the way up overhead. Inhale, lifting up through the chest. And notice if you're popping in the ribs, drawing that in, bringing the hands all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, dropping your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers, lifting up through the chest. And then exhale, fold forward. Releasing the hands down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising all the way up. Good, and then exhale, bringing your hands in the heart center. Alright, so I'm going to push my blanket over. And then inhale, raising your hands all the way up, grounding your feet to the ground. Exhale, bend forward, forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, putting your hands down to your mat, stepping your feet back, coming into the top of the push-up, plank pose. Holding it here, pushing into your hands, rounding in the upper back. Keeping those thighs reaching up to the sky, belly drawing in, connecting those rib cages in the lower hip bones, and then inhale, shifting your weight forward. Exhale, lowering down slowly to your stomach. And then inhale, taking low cobra. Pulling the shoulders out of your ears, using your core to lift your chest up. Pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat. Exhale, fold forward, tucking your toes, pushing your hips back, coming into down dog. Keeping a nice bend in the knees as we're still opening up the backs of the legs. So pedaling out your feet, back and forth. Staying connected to that breath. Good. Inhale, bending your knees. Exhale, walking your feet forward, forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, breathing to rise, bringing your hands all the way up overhead. And then exhale, bringing your hands in the heart center. And then just holding it here. Good, and then reconnecting to your breath. And then inhale, raising your hands all the way up overhead. We're going to do that one more time. Exhale, fold forward, forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, planting your hands to the mat, stepping your feet back, coming to the top of the push-up. Inhale, shifting your weight forward. Exhale, lowering down to your belly. Untucking your toes. Inhale, coming up for cobra. Exhale, fold forward. This time you're going to tuck your toes, push back into child's pose, Balasana. Bringing your forehead down to the mat. Spreading your knees nice and wide. And then just coming to what's comfortable for you. So the closer that you bring your knees together, the more that you're going to bring into your back. So if you want, you can keep your knees together and then allow your chest to fold forward over your knees. Opening up in your back. At any time during the practice, if you feel like it's too hard and you feel like you need to take a break, you can always come back down to child's pose, take a few breaths, and then resume. Right, and then inhale, coming up into tabletop position. So if this is hard on your knees, you can bring your blanket underneath your knees, bringing your wrists underneath your shoulders, bending in the knees, keeping the knees in alignment with your hips. And then we're going to take a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, dropping your belly, flipping your tailbone up, gaze comes forward, shoulders pull back, chest pulls forward. Deep breath in, and then exhale, rounding belly to the spine. Good, pushing into the upper shoulders, and then inhale, dropping the belly, flipping the tailbone up. And then continuing with that movement to your breath. You're just stretching out your spine, and if you feel like you need to, you can bring some movement into your cat-cow. So maybe you twisting in your hips, rounding in your shoulders, shaking side to side, whatever feels comfortable, just warming up your spine. Really dropping the shoulders out of your ears as you inhale. And then exhale, really pulling that belly to the spine. So just continuing with that movement to your breath. Good, and we'll do 2 more just like that. Good, last one. Inhale, dropping the belly, flipping the tailbone up. Exhale, rounding into the spine. And then coming into neutral tabletop position, you're going to kick the right leg back. You want to keep the hips in nice alignment. So keep that right hip dropping down, spinning the toes inward. So the inner seam of your pants is going to be lifting up through the towards the ceiling. The heel is pushing to the back of the room, and then the left arm is reaching forward. If you need a little bit more balance, you can tuck your toes to give you more stability, and then make sure that you're keeping that back leg in line with your hips. Left arm is reaching up, belly's drawing in, everything is nice, tight, straight line. Remembering to inhale, and then exhale, you're going to bring the knee in towards the elbow, and then crunch here, drawing everything in. Good, and then inhale, reaching it out. And then following with this movement to your breath, using your muscles to really crunch in so you're engaging in that core and keeping everything nice and tight and engaged. Good, and we'll do that 2 more times. Good, last time, reaching out. And then this time I want you to bend into the right leg, reach back with the left arm and grab that foot. So if you can't do that, it's okay, you can just reach back and try to get it. Or if you have a strap, you can use your strap to connect onto the foot. But what you want to do is push that right foot back into the hand and then open up in the shoulder. So you're grounding this right hand into the floor to give yourself stability, opening up in that left shoulder. Maybe you're gazing back and you're kicking that right leg up. Remembering to breathe. Good, and then releasing it out. And then bringing it down to the mat. Taking 1 round of cat-cow. Inhale, dropping the belly, flipping the tailbone up. And then exhale, rounding in the spine. Good, neutral tabletop position. Now the left leg is kicking back, right arm is reaching forward. So same action, spinning that inner thigh upward, keeping everything in a nice alignment. Arm is reaching out. You also want to pull those shoulders out of your ears. The tendency is to crunch everything up, so draw all of that back. Belly's drawing in, ribs drawing in. Nice, tight, straight line. Inhale, reaching out. Exhale, bringing the elbow to the knee. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, drawing it in. Inhale, reaching out. Exhale, drawing it in. And then just continuing with that movement to your breath. Good, and then 2 more times. Good, and then bending into the left leg, reaching back with the right hand. So kicking that left foot into the right arm and then pulling that right shoulder back. And then exhale, releasing it out, and then down to the mat. Inhale, dropping the belly, flipping the tailbone up. Exhale, rounding the belly to the spine. coming into neutral tabletop, and then you're going to keep your knees in line with your hips, dropping your belly down to the mat. So you want to get your chest going down towards your thighs, and your arms are going to reach forward, coming into puppy pose. So you can stay here, pressing your forehead down into the mat. With every inhale, you want to try to bring length in your spine, and then exhale, dropping the chest towards the thighs a little bit more. And if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can bring your chin to the floor. And then you'll feel it opening up in the upper back. Good, and then slowly bringing the forehead down to the mat, and then bringing your hands into prayer hands. And then your elbows are about shoulder distance apart. Palms are going to come up towards the back of your head. And then remembering to bring that chest down towards the thighs. Stretching the upper back. Continuing to breathe. And then releasing your hands down and walking your hands back, coming into tabletop position. Alright, so tucking your toes, pushing your hips back, coming into downward facing dog. So pedaling out your feet here. Taking a nice generous bend in the knees, pushing your hips back, and then slowly straightening your legs back. Grounding your hands down into the mat, and then pushing your hands away, and then getting your hips up towards the sky. You can keep a bend in your knees, trying to bring your heels down to the mat, rounding and wrapping those triceps around and opening up in your shoulders. And then just taking a couple breaths here. And then bending your knees, looking forward, and then walking your feet forward to the top of the mat, forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rooting to rise, bringing your hands all the way up overhead. And then exhale, bringing your hands in the heart center. And then we'll take a few sun salutation A's. So inhale, raising your hands all the way up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, turning your hands to the mat, stepping your feet back, coming to the top of the push-up, lowering down for chaturanga. Inhale, taking upward facing dog or cobra, and really pulling your chest forward, and then getting those shoulders out of the ears. Gaze comes forward. Exhale, tucking your toes, pushing your hips back, coming in a downward facing dog. Taking 2 breaths here. Inhale, bending in the knees. Exhale, step hop float to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, moving to rise. And then this time we'll go with the breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, planting your hands to the mat, stepping your feet back, lowering down for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And take 2 breaths here. Inhale, bending the knees. Exhale, step hop float to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rooting to rise, bringing your hands all the way up overhead. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, planting your hands to the mat, stepping your feet back, coming to the top of a push-up, lowering down all the way down to your belly. And then coming all the way to your belly, unfolding your feet. In this posture, it's good to have the blanket underneath your hips, just to give yourself a little bit more padding. You're going to take your hands behind you, You're going to bring the left hand out to a T, bend in the right leg, clasping the right foot, drawing it in, just getting the quad stretch here. And then you're going to roll over towards the right, towards your left, and then stretch out open in that left arm. Staying connected to your breath. And using that right foot as like a little stand. And then coming back into center. So same thing, the right hand is going to come out to a T. You're going to bend into the left leg, clasping with that left hand, and then rotating over towards the right. And then just stretching in that right side. Remembering to breathe. And then inhale, come back into center. Good, and then planting your hands down to the mat, tucking your toes, pushing your hips back, coming in a downward facing dog. Inhale, bending your knees, step hop, float to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rooting to rise, bringing your hands all the way up overhead. Exhale, hands coming to heart center. So just recentering, resetting yourself, keeping those hands in the heart center. Dropping the shoulders down out of your ears, taking a deep breath in, and raising your hands all the way up overhead. And then exhale, cactus arms, opening up in the chest, opening up in the shoulders, tilting your head back, and then exhale out of the mouth. One more time, inhale, lifting up through the hands. And then exhale, cactus arms, opening up. Inhale, bringing the hands back up. Exhale, hands come into heart center. And so we'll take a few rounds of sun salutation B. So you're going to inhale, bending into the knees, stepping your feet back. Bringing your hips back in line so you can see the top of your toes. Your bottom, your tailbone is tucking down, belly is pulling in, and inhale, raising your hands all the way up, coming into chair pose. Staying connected to your breath. Keeping those ribs drawing in so that you're making sure that you're not popping them out, but pulling everything in, and your back is in a nice straight line. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bringing your right foot back, bringing that right knee down to the mat. Inhale, coming up for low lunge. So you can keep the back foot tucked if you need some more balance, or you can keep it untucked to your preference. And then inhale, lifting up through the chest and through the pelvic floor. And then exhale, you're going to sink down into that left knee, raising your hands all the way up. Belly's drawing in, pressing that left foot into the mat. And then exhale, you're going to bring your hands behind your back, and then you're going to come into reverse namaste. So your hands are going to come into a prayer, and if it's too hard for you to do that, you could do fist, you could take your strap and grab here, or just come to where you are comfortable doing. But as you're doing this, you want to focus on lifting up through your chest and through your spine so you're not dipping into that belly. So keeping everything nice and engaged. Drawing up through the pelvic floor, your heart is reaching up to the sky, shoulders are dropping out of your ears, your gaze can come up, and then taking a slight back bend. So you're pushing your hips forward, getting into your hip flexors, opening up the front body. Staying connected to the breath. That right hip is pushing forward as you're pulling that left hip back. Good, and we'll take one more breath here. Making those small refinements, and then inhale, raising your hands all the way up. Exhale, planting your hands down to the mat, and then you're going to straighten in the left leg, pulling that left hip back. Inhale, reaching through the chest, trying to straighten your spine. Exhale, fold forward towards that left leg. You can keep a bend in that left leg. If you're like me, my hamstrings are extremely tight, so just giving yourself grace there. And you can keep the bend and get that stretch in that front leg. Push that right hip forward, inhale, lifting up through the chest, exhale, fold. Remembering to breathe, so with every inhale, you're finding length through the spine, and then every exhale, you're contracting and folding towards your leg a little bit more. And then inhale, shifting your weight forward, framing the left foot, stepping the left foot back. You can keep it hanging or bring it down, and then lower down for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, pushing back for downward facing dog. Right leg comes up to the sky, keeping that right hip square. Exhale, stepping the right foot all the way through the hands, bringing the left knee down. Low lunge on the opposite side, inhale, coming up. So same refinements as we did on the other side. So pulling that left hip forward, right hip is coming back. You inhale, lifting up through the pelvic floor. Exhale, lowering down into the hips while keeping that engagement, lifting up through the chest. Inhale, raising your hands up. Exhale, dropping your hands behind your back. Namaste hands. Allowing your heart to reach forward, lifting up out of those ribs, keeping everything nice and engaged. Staying connected to that breath. Good, and we'll take 2 more breaths here. Good, inhale, raising your hands all the way up. Exhale, framing that right foot, shifting the weight back, straightening in that right leg. Inhale, lifting up through the chest, finding length through the spine, drawing the right leg back, shifting the left hip forward, and then exhale, folding down towards that right leg. Remembering to breathe. With every inhale, finding length, and then every exhale, folding a little bit more towards that leg. Good. Inhale, shifting that weight forward, framing the right foot, tucking the back leg, shooting the right foot back, lowering down for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, pushing back for downward facing dog. Bending in the knees, jump hop float to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rooting to rise, bringing your hands all the way up overhead. Exhale, bringing your hands into heart center. Alright, so we're going to do that one more time, and we're going to link it to our breath. So just flowing right through it. So inhale, shifting, coming into chair pose, bringing those hands up. We're going to take 2 breaths here. So sinking down low into those hips, tailbone, getting those refinements, taking another deep breath in, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping the right foot back, bringing the right knee down, low lunge on this side. Good, exhale, bringing your hands behind your back, namaste hands. Inhale, reaching up through the chest. Exhale, bringing your hands, framing that left foot, bringing the hip back. Inhale, lifting up through the spine, and then exhale, folding towards the left leg. Inhale, shifting your weight forward, framing the left foot, stepping the left foot back, lowering down for chaturanga. Taking upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, stepping back for downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg comes up. Exhale, stepping the right foot in between your hands, bringing the left knee down. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, the hands coming back behind your back, reverse namaste. Inhale, lifting up through the chest. Exhale, framing that right foot, shifting your hips back, straightening in the right leg. Inhale, lifting up through the chest, and then exhale, folding forward. Good. Inhale, reaching that knee forward, tucking in the left foot, right foot comes back, lowering down for chaturanga. Inhale, lifting up through the chest. Exhale, pushing back for downward facing dog. Inhale, bending in the knees, step hop float to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rooting to rise, bring your hands all the way up. Exhale, hands going to heart center. Inhale, reaching the hands up, bending in the knees, pulling those knees back, tucking in the tailbone, coming into chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Left foot steps back, bringing the heel down, staying high up in the left knee, the left leg, bending into the right leg, coming up for warrior one. So same action of keeping that left hip reaching forward as you're pulling the right leg back. Inhale, reaching up through the hands, bending into that right leg. keeping the outer edge of that left foot grounding down into the mat. And then we're going to take eagle arms with our hands. So you're going to swoop the left hand underneath the right, and then cross and wrap your hands around. The goal is to bring the elbows up off of the chest, and we're getting into that back body now. So you'll feel the back of your arm stretching and opening up, and then inhale, lifting up as much as you can, taking a slight back bend. Staying bent into that right leg, and if you fall out, just get back in. Good, one more breath here. And then exhale, releasing your hands out, framing that right foot. You're gonna spin the outer edge of that left leg out, bringing the right hand inside of that right foot, and then open up for a side angle. Remembering to breathe. And maybe you take a bind, you could drop that left hand and bring it behind you, opening up in the shoulders. And you want to still energetically lift out of that right side body, so you're not dumping into that. And then inhale, bringing the hand up if you're in the bind. Exhale, framing your foot, stepping the foot back, lowering down, moving through your vinyasa, meeting back in Dhamma. This time the left leg reaches up behind you, keeping that hip square, stepping the left foot all the way through the hands, bringing the right foot down to the mat. Inhale, warrior one on the opposite side. So bringing that right hip forward, bending into that left leg. Now we're going to do eagle arms. So you're going to take the opposite arm underneath. So this time the right arm swoops under, wrapping those hands out. Inhale, lifting those elbows up out of the chest. Staying bent in the left knee. Good, remembering to breathe. Releasing the hands there. Inhale, reaching the hands up. You're going to spin to the outer edge of that right foot. The left hand is coming inside of the left leg. Right arm is reaching up. Side angle pose on the opposite side. So you want to spin that right shoulder back and that left shoulder forward to square out in your collarbone, opening up in the chest, and then taking the bind if you did on the other side. Remembering to breathe. And then inhale, bringing your hand up if you were in the bind, and then framing the left foot, bringing the left foot back, lowering down for chaturanga, moving through your vinyasa. Inhale, bending. Exhale, step hop float to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rooting to rise, bring your hands all the way up overhead. Exhale, hands come into heart center. Inhale, sinking your hips, coming back into chair pose, Utkatasana. Maybe you come a little bit deeper, keeping that tailbone tucking down. And then exhale, bringing your hands into heart center, bending, bringing that right elbow to the outside of the left knee. And then if you feel like you have a really tight back, or if you're pregnant, then you can widen your knees, bringing them about hip distance apart, and then bringing that elbow to the inside of that right knee. And then you want to pull that left shoulder back, pressing that right elbow into the knee. Staying in the squat, remembering to stay connected to the breath. Inhale, coming back into center, and then we're going to switch sides. Left elbow comes to the outside of that right knee, or making the appropriate adjustments. And as you're doing this, you want to pull the opposite hip back that you're twisting. And then inhale, come back into center, forward fold, shake it out. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping the right foot back, bringing the right heel down. Inhale, warrior one. Good. Exhale, bring the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers. Inhale, lifting up through the chest. Exhale, folding the chest forward, humble warrior, bowing your chest, allowing yourself to melt the heart down towards the ground. Hands come forward. Left hand comes inside of the left foot, side angle. Right arm comes up to the sky. Good. Maybe you take the bind. I'm going to take 2 breaths here. Good. And then inhale, bringing the hand back up. So you're going to plant the left hand into the mat, and then you're going to step the left foot back, coming into side angle pose. So if you need to make an adjustment, you can bring the right foot and shelf it forward, but making sure that you're still using that side body to keep yourself up. Hips are lifting up. Remembering to breathe. And then you're going to grab the right leg, pulling it back, and then drop the right foot back, coming into shooting star. Hips coming up towards the sky. Good, and then slowly bringing the right hand back forward, coming into chaturanga, lowering down, moving through your vinyasa, kneeling back and down. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale side of the mouth. And one more time, deep breath in. Exhale, sigh out of the mouth. Good, inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, stepping the right foot forward. Bringing the left foot down. Inhale, warrior one on the opposite side. Bending into the right leg. Exhale, dropping the hands behind the back. Interlacing your fingers. Inhale, lifting up through the chest. Remembering to stay connected to that breath. Bending into that right leg. And then as you exhale, bowing your chest forward, melting the chest towards the ground. Hands come forward, humble warrior. Right hand comes inside the right foot. Left hand comes up, side angle pose. Planting the right hand into the mat. The right foot comes to meet the left. Maybe you take the adjustment or you put the left hand on top, coming into side plank. So you want to push out of the shoulders, keeping the hips up. Side body nice and strong. Staying connected to your breath, grabbing onto the left foot, and then coming into shooting star. Hips come up, left palm comes behind you. Good, and then bringing the left hand down towards the mat, lowering down for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, we're going to push back for child's pose. And just take a breath here. So slowing down your breath, noticing how's your heart pounding, where's your mind at, coming back to your center, slowing everything down, slowing your breath down. Maybe you exhale out of the mouth, allowing some heat to release, and just breathing. And we'll take 2 more breaths here. And then inhale, shifting your weight forward, tucking your toes, pushing your hips back, coming into down dog. Bending into the knees, exhale, step up, float to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rooting to rise, bring your hands all the way up overhead. Exhale, hands come in the heart center. Inhale, raising your hands all the way up, sinking your hips back, coming into chair pose. Good. Exhale, bringing your hands into heart center. This time you're going to lift up in the right leg, staying onto the left foot, and then stepping the right foot all the way back. Inhale, coming all the way up. High crescent lunge. Sinking down into those hips. Exhale, dropping your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers, lifting up through the chest. Exhale, bowing your chest down, coming into humble warrior. You're going to drop your hands outside of that left foot, then step the right foot up, coming into triangle pose. So straightening the front leg and then shifting that right hip forward and down, and then exhale, fold forward. And then from here, we're gonna take half moon. So if you have a block or a prop, you can use it. Or if not, you're gonna bend into the left knee, place your left hand to the outside of the left foot, and then lift the right leg up. You wanna point the right toes out towards the right, opening up in that right hip, and then finding your point of focus. So finding something on the ground that's not moving, your drishti, your gaze. And then slowly you're gonna bring that chest and open it up. So pressing into the ball of that left foot as you keep that right foot pushing behind you, opening up in the chest. Good. Maybe you bring that left hand off the ground, or you keep it there or on your block. And then you grab the right foot with your hand, pulling that right leg back. So same action as we did in the beginning. Pulling that right leg back. And then slowly releasing that out. Right hand comes back, bending into that left knee. And then slowly bringing that right foot back. And then coming into warrior two. Bending into the left knee, bringing your hands out to a T. And then gaze comes forward. Inhale, left palm comes up, reverse the warrior. Then breathing into the left side body. And then windmilling your hands down, framing the left foot, stepping the left foot back, moving through your vinyasa, and meeting your down dog. And then lifting the right leg up, and then stepping the right foot all the way through. Staying high on the ball of the left foot, inhale, coming all the way up, high crescent lunge on the right side. Bending into that right leg, sinking down into the hips. So same action when you have that knee on the ground, lifting up out of that back leg, out of the pelvic floor, belly's pulling in, arms pulling up, dropping your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers, and then bowing forward, coming in the humble warrior. Reaching the arms forward. Good, and then releasing the hands, framing the right foot, and then stepping the left foot forward, coming into triangle pose. So straightening in the right leg, shifting that left hip down, inhale, reaching through the chest, exhale, fold forward towards the leg. And it's okay to have a bend in that front leg if you need to. Okay, so prepping for a half moon. So you're gonna bend into the right leg, bringing the right hand to the outside, finding your point of focus, lifting the left leg off of the ground, and then slowly opening your body. Left arm is reaching up towards the sky. Good. Maybe you take your gaze up towards the ceiling, challenging your balance. And if you come out, remembering to give yourself compassion, come back into the pose. The goal is to press the ball of that right foot down into the mat to give yourself stability. So you're grounding into that leg and then reaching up through the body. And then grabbing onto that left leg with the left hand, rolling that left leg back. And then bending into the right leg, bringing the left leg back. And then wiggling your hands open, coming into warrior two. Bending into the right leg, opening up in the right leg, and then hands come out to a T. So dropping the shoulders out of your back, and then out of your, drawing the shoulders down your back, out of your ears. And then you want to focus on using your shoulder blades and not the tops of your shoulders to keep your arms up. So using your back to keep your arms up. Gaze comes forward, bending into that right leg. Right palm comes up, reverse warrior. Breathing into the right side body. Getting a nice juicy stretch in the right side. Staying bent into that right knee. Good. Wiggling your hands down, framing the right foot. Stepping the right foot back. Going down for chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, pushing back for child's pose. So we're gonna do that one more time and then linking it from breath to movement. And then we'll do a cool down. So take one more breath here. Inhale, shifting your weight forward, tucking your toes, pushing your hips back, coming in the downward facing dog. Bending in the knees, exhale, step up, float to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rooting to rise, bring your hands all the way up overhead. Hands come into heart center. Inhale, sinking down in the hips, coming into chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Good, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping the right foot back. Staying high on the ball of the right foot. Inhale, coming up for high crescent lunge. Exhale, dropping your hands behind your back. Inhale, reaching up through the chest. Forward fold, bowing forward, humble warrior. Good, framing your foot as you exhale, stepping the right foot back, triangle pose. Inhale, reaching the chest forward. Exhale, fold forward. Setting up for half moon, bending into the left knee, opening up. Good, bending, clasping into that right leg, pulling that right leg back, taking a breath here. Exhale, releasing everything down to the mat, coming into warrior two. Remembering, drawing through the shoulders, shoulders out of the ear. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, wiggling your hands down, bringing your foot, bringing the left foot back, moving through your vinyasa, meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up. Exhale, right foot steps forward, high on the back leg. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Exhale, dropping your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers, and then forward fold, humble warrior, bowing your chest forward. Good. Framing your foot, bringing the left foot forward. Inhale, reaching through the chest. Exhale, triangle pose, fold forward. Taking a breath here. Good. Exhale, bending into the right leg, bringing the right foot in front of you, coming into half knee. Taking a breath here, grasping onto the left foot, pulling it back. One breath here. Dropping the back foot, warrior two. Good, inhale, right palm comes up, reverse warrior. Good, and then windmilling your hands back into center. And then what you're gonna do is straighten the front leg and then bring your toes parallel. We're gonna come into wide-legged forward fold. So inhale, raising your hands all the way up. Exhale, interlacing your hands behind your back, reaching the chest forward. And you wanna make sure that your feet are parallel and you're drawing up out of the pelvic floor, leading with the chest forward fold. So focusing on lifting your hips up, getting the backs of your legs open towards the front. And then you can release your hands down to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, bringing your hands to the outside of your legs, pulling your chest forward and down. Good. Inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back, bending into the knees and then coming up to standing. And then we'll come to the top of the mat. Shake it out. Inhale, raising your hands all the way up. Exhale, coming into Malasana. So you're gonna bring your bottom all the way down. You're gonna take the feet about as wide as your mat. And then sinking your bottom into the mat. So if your feet are coming up, your heels are coming up, you could grab your blanket or roll up your mat and place it underneath to give yourself support here. If you feel like this is too easy, then you can challenge yourself and bring your legs in. But the goal is to bring the elbows inside of your knees. Inhale, lifting up through the chest. So counteracting, so pushing your elbows into the knees and your knees into the elbow as you lift through the chest, drawing the spine forward and up. And then just taking a few breaths here. And then you're gonna inhale, raise your hands up, and then exhale, fold forward. So walking those hands forward. And then exhale, falling back on your bottom, bringing your knees up, coming into boat pose. So drawing the belly in, chest is reaching forward, getting into the spine, working out your core. Nice deep breath. Good, and continuing to breathe with every breath, finding the lengthening in your spine. Good, and then exhale, bringing it down, grabbing your knees, inhale, lifting up through the chest. Exhale, rounding the spine. All right, so you're gonna bring your knees, come behind you. We're gonna come into Virasana, hero's pose. So you can go onto the tops of your feet. If your knees are too tight, then you wanna put a blanket underneath to just give yourself support here. Palms come forward, chest comes up, grounding into the spine, grounding your bottom into the ground, lifting up through the spine, finding the length, dropping the shoulders out of the ears, and then just continuing to breathe. Coming back into your center, coming into that heart space, remembering that intention we set to find that opening, compassion and love, connecting into our heart chakra, Anahata. Remembering to breathe. So from here, we're gonna come into Ustrasana, which is camel's pose. So it's nice to have the blanket underneath your knees, and you're gonna lift your hips forward, coming into a nice straight line. So if you need a little bit more balance, you can tuck your toes, or you can keep your feet untucked. Here, you're gonna keep your legs about hip distance apart. Pushing the hips forward, you're gonna bring the tops of your hands to the top of your bottom, like you're placing them into your back pocket. Drawing your elbows together, lifting up through the chest, pushing the hips forward. As you're lifting through the chest, you're gonna reach your head backwards. So hips reaching forward, chest is lifting up, head is dipping back. So we're gonna take it back in. So you have the option to stay here, continuing to breathe. And then if you feel like you could push yourself a little bit more, you could grab the backs of your heels. But you want to keep those hips pushing forward and that chest lifting up. And then if you want to, head can cock back. Remembering to breathe. Good, and then slowly lifting up the head and then coming down. We'll just take a moment here. And we'll do it one more time. Alright, inhale, lifting up the hips. Hands come into the back pocket and then coming into your version of Ustrasana. Maybe the first time you didn't go back, but this time you feel like you can go back. So you bring the hands to the heels, but keep those hips pushing forward and the chest reaching up. Good, and then slowly, hips come forward, shoulders come forward, and then head comes forward last. Good, planting the hands to the mat. Taking a round of cat-cow, inhale, dropping the belly. Exhale, rounding the spine. Good, and then coming into a seated position. And then slowly lowering down onto your back. And then you're going to draw your knees into your chest, squeezing them in nice and tight, rocking side to side. And then we're going to come into reverse pigeons. You're going to place your soles of the feet down to the mat, cross that right ankle over the left knee, and then draw the left leg in. So this is always a great option when you're doing pigeon if you feel like it's just too tight. You can always come into reverse pigeon, which gives you a little bit more support. Maybe you grab the outside of your shin. Noticing how if you rock your hips, how the change of the stretches in the IT band. And then you want to push, you could use that right hand to push that right knee out as you draw the left leg in. Remembering to breathe. We're still connected to that breath. We haven't let it go. Everything is nice and engaged. And then you're going to cross that right leg over the left and then drop your knees over to the left, coming into a twist. And then bringing the knees back in the center. Drawing the knees back into the chest, resetting your spine, giving yourself a nice squeeze here. And then releasing the soles of the feet down. So the left ankle is crossing over, or the opposite side that you did the other time. Drawing the right leg in, left knee is pushing out. Maybe you're grabbing behind the shin. Continuing to breathe. Noticing where your thoughts are as we're slowing down, but staying connected to that intention. And then crossing the left leg over, dropping over into a twist. And if that feels too intense, then you can unhook your legs and just drop them over to the side. Good. Bring your knees back in the center, giving yourself a nice big hug here. And then we're going to come into happy baby pose. So grabbing the outsides of the soles of your feet, or you could grab with your peace fingers, the big toes. The knees are drawing in towards the armpits, soles of the feet up towards the sky. Tailbone is pulling down towards the mat. And then breathing here and just rocking side to side. Maybe you straighten your legs out, or just feeling the stretch here. Giving yourself a nice big hug here, squeezing everything in for a nice tight ball. And if you need to take any last stretches before we go into our final Shavasana, you could do so now. Otherwise, you're going to take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale, release everything down to the mat. Legs fall wide, palms facing up. Allowing everything to feel heavy. And let's take a deep breath in. And then exhale, sigh out of the mouth. And then one more cleansing breath, deep breath in. Exhale, sigh out of the mouth. And just letting everything feel heavy. As if you have sandbags. Releasing the tension in your eyebrows and your mouth. And letting your breath go. And just letting the breath flow. And then just breathing here. And holding that. Just feeling really heavy. And then slowly wiggling your fingers and your toes. And then inhale, stretching your hands all the way up overhead. And then exhale, rolling over to your left side. It's the more calming and cooling side. And just take a moment here to let go, release anything that you need to. Honoring yourself for showing up and coming to this practice today. Honoring your body for getting you through. And then slowly pushing yourself up to a seated position. Inhale, raising your hands all the way up overhead. And then exhale, bringing your thumbs into heart center. And we'll take a cleansing breath together. Deep breath in. Exhale, sigh. And just remembering as you go through the rest of your night or your day to stay connected to that heart center, opening up and allowing yourself to find that compassion, that love, and let go of the jealousy, the resistance, and noticing what's coming in and what's going out. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.